Hey guys, Dow Phoenix here, and yeah, I just got done watching the Nintendo E3 press conference. Overall, I thought it wasn't too bad. It wasn't as strong of a showing as I hoped Nintendo to have, but they did show off some pretty cool things with the Wii U. One of the surprises that they showed off is there's actually going to be two supported gamepads, not just one like originally perceived, which is pretty interesting. You know, I mean that's a good thing. Yeah, overall wasn't too impressed with it. As you see, they were doing some kind of donkey. Well, never mind. Oh, I guess it is like a Donkey Kong thing because they're like bananas and stuff like that. Anyways, this is kind of like the after show where they were just showing off some more Wii U games and all that. And of course, the typical American family with kid, daughter, wife, husband, and grandma, you know, all playing together. Of course, you know. And Mr. Iwata's holding some bananas in a very dramatic fashion. That's cool. But anyways, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the conference. It started off pretty good. They, of course, they started off with Mario. You know, they hit it strong because Mario is, you know, the big thing, of course. And they showed various other games. You know, they showed like a new edition of Batman Arkham City that's coming out specifically for the Wii U. And they showed a new Scribblenauts game, which looked pretty cool. Looks like it'd be a really good thing because I noticed in the new Scribblenauts game you can actually use like two separate words to create like something entirely different. Like they showed like a dog carve, something like that. I don't know how that would be useful, but yeah, they showed that off. And so, yeah, I mean, that wasn't too bad of a showing. And then they showed some 3DS stuff. Not a whole lot, but they did show like a new Super Mario Brothers for that. And they're like, oh, it's completely different from the the Wii U version. It's not that different. Monitor went asleep. But yeah, I mean, it's a new kind of Mario game. You know, Mario. And they showed off like some of the neat tricks with the hardware. Like they showed a new Wii Fit U. So it's like a new Wii U game, new Wii Fit game that uses the balance board, but it also utilizes the Wii U controller. Like they showed this chick like bouncing off of like a trampoline. She was like looking down to, I guess, judge how high and everything like that, and trying to land in a certain spot with it. And you know, they really focused on the games with this conference. They didn't really show a whole lot of the hardware into things, unfortunately. You know, it was a little disappointing. We didn't hear any news as far as when it's coming out. They just said this holiday season, so probably October, November, something like that, I'm sure. They didn't give us a price. You know, everybody's hoping it's going to be under $300. Who knows? The Wii U's controller is quite advanced in comparison to what we've seen in traditional gamepads, so I hope they can manage that price point. But, you know, it might be possible Nintendo might have to price a little bit higher in order to make a little money off the unit. You know, they had a couple of disappointments as far as things they showed, like too much Ubisoft stuff. I mean, and they didn't really show anything particularly interesting from Ubisoft. The only thing that looked pretty cool was that Zombie U game, which is a retarded name, but pretty good idea for a Wii U title because it utilizes the Wii U controller very well. There's a lot of different functions that they showed that you can utilize with it, including taking a picture of yourself to be like a zombie in the game. They show that with Reggie, and it was pretty buggy looking actually because the way his face moved around, like this zombie stuff stretched out and stuff like that. So obviously that's still going to need some work, but yeah, it was all right. Now, one thing that they showed, which I'm kind of torn about, was the thing they showed at the end of the conference, the new Nintendo Land. That's what they called it. They said it's supposed to be like the Wii Sports for the Wii U. You know, like the Wii Sports was the game that got people to play the Wii, and their aim is to make Nintendo Land that game for the Wii U. But I don't really see it being quite as successful. You know, I mean, it looks like it might be fun, some of the mini games and stuff like that. You know, it's mainly a mini game collection. You know, it might be alright, but I just don't see it really being a big hit like the Wii Sports was. You know, and that's not being biased. I mean, I'm just talking about, like, it's from a purely game marketing perspective. You know, I don't see the average person rushing out to buy this. I might be wrong. You know, maybe the casual gamers really dig the Nintendo brand and maybe they are ready for new hardware, but I'm just not seeing it, guys. You know, I mean, I really don't see it here. They're showing that Wii Fit U in the background, that trampoline game I was just talking about. Now, they did show, like, that Lego City game that they announced was coming specifically for the Wii U, and it looks pretty good. I mean, it's a Lego game. It looks like Lego GTA, pretty much, for kids. But, hey, why not? You know, I mean, it's a good basis for a game. You know, you get a lot of stuff to do, at least, and all that good stuff. But, yeah, overall, Nintendo's conference wasn't that impressive. I thought it was better than Microsoft's, mainly because there wasn't much downtime. They kept a very good pace. They did waste their time a little bit on a couple of things, but it wasn't too bad. I was kind of hoping that they didn't spend any time, to be honest, with the 3DS part of it. Not because I don't have a 3DS, but because they already announced that they're going to have a 1-hour show specifically for the 3DS, and they spent about, like, 15 minutes or so just on 3DS stuff. So, I mean, that left less time for the Wii U, and we didn't really get to see a lot of games. They did show some short clips of some third-party games coming out, like Mass Effect 3, Ninja Gaiden 3, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Aliens Colonial Marines, and such, but they were just a short montage-type clips. They didn't really show anything that we haven't seen before from these games. Or how we were going to play these games with the Wii U, for that matter. But yeah, overall, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. I like the Sony conference better overall. This was better paced in the Sony conference. It had a very good flow, but just a lack of good information, lack of real reveals. Oh, I did mention, I don't know if I forgot, they are coming out with a new Pikmin game. That was actually the game they launched the show with, and the new Pikmin game looks really good. It looks like classic Nintendo gameplay, but it did demonstrate pretty good some of the graphics capabilities to expect in the console, which you know, which was a little surprising considering, you know, that it's not exactly the most graphically enhanced franchise. But yeah, it looked pretty good. I would say it's at least on par with the other consoles, if maybe not even a little better, you know, with some of the different effects that they had. Had really good use of depth of field, very high resolution graphics, and the textures look really good. So, I mean, might give us a pretty good idea of what to expect. Which, I mean, overall, we were kind of expecting the Wii U to be an improvement over the current consoles, but maybe not a huge improvement. Like, maybe, for instance, this new Batman game, you know, it might run in native 1080p at 60 frames a second, whereas the consoles would run at 720p at 30 frames a second. But otherwise, it'd probably be the exact same graphics, you know. Just because the hardware is more capable of pushing out that kind of stuff. But we're probably not going to see a big, you know, we're not going to see much of a leap overall in the actual graphics quality. You know, we'll probably see higher frame rates and resolutions, of course, to support those frame rates. But, I mean, that's what it looks like, at least initially. Who knows? Nintendo didn't really surprise us with any kind of graphics demos or anything like that. We didn't get to see any Zelda or Metroid or anything like that. You know, they did really focus hardcore on Mario, and they did show like the new Luigi's Mansion on 3DS on the 3DS segment that they had at the show. And there's also like a Luigi's Mansion thing for the Nintendo Land. Also, Nintendo Land's supposed to be like a amusement park built into the game. You know, like of all different Nintendo franchises. You know, various little mini games and stuff like that. You know, and like I said earlier, I mean, it looked pretty interesting. It just I don't really see it being a big success, except for maybe Nintendo fans will probably dig it a lot. Is also disappointing. They talked a lot about the Miiverse and everything like that, about how that's going to make gaming more social, but they didn't really show us like how that's going to, I guess, work with all the games. You know, they showed how it kind of works with Mario, like where you can brag to your friends and everything like that about it. But yeah, they didn't really delve very much on that part, unfortunately. So yeah, I guess that's all I got to say for now. Overall, better than Microsoft's conference, not as good as Sony's. So I'm sorry, Sony. They actually managed to win this E3 between the big companies, in my opinion, which is surprising because their last couple of conferences did suck. Mainly because they were just kind of boring and slow-paced, and they didn't really show a lot because everything got revealed before the show. So, yeah, that's all I got to say for now. With that, guys, down Phoenix out.